I'm sure all I did is click on what you gave
The
me.
link? Okay.
And I got an Android, so whatever it popped through on.
So if you see me actually freeze, but you can still hear what I'm saying, the recording on my end looks good.
Okay,
So
so just keep
we're good.
going.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Now let me see what the time code is here. So let's say about 3:30. Okay. All right. Let's try this again. Hey, everybody, Matt Michaels here on the Rocky T Experience with the co-owner of FSW, the future stars of wrestling here in Las Vegas, Rocky Thunder himself, Rocky T. How's it going, Rock?
It's going good, Matt, man. Great to be here. Finally, Rocky T on Bad Boys Podcast. It's been a long time coming, brother, but we're here today and we're going to get down to the nitty gritty.
Well, let's start off with something that I know just happened. The Mecca 9 just finished. The question is, what is your role when you have these big shows? We see Joe DeFalco; he's doing the door, he's booking the card. But what is the real heart and process behind these huge casino shows that people might not know?
Well, basically, Joe's great at booking shows and talent. That's his gig. I've always kind of stayed out of that. It's my job to make sure the show happens. Let's just put it out there, man. I'm the workhorse of FSW. I get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, usually before any of the students are there to help set up. I'm working on staging. I'm doing 10 different things at one time. I've got to get staging done. I've got to make sure the ring gets put up right. I mean, basically, I handle all that. I direct, obviously, I have the students to help me, but I'm the director. I make sure that everything is where it needs to be, when it needs to be there. All safety issues are handled, any backstage propping. I mean, basically everything, except for booking the goddamn card. That's what I do.
Uh, how you look at the setup right now? The Silver Nugget was the setup that you've done for the last couple of casino shows. What influenced the set design? Because I think a lot of people don't realize that you come up with that entranceway and that set that they see, that is the important visual for the wrestlers coming out from backstage, because that is the first thing that the fans see. And you've really upgraded the last couple of casino shows to a really uh, stand out type of set that you got. What was the inspiration for getting that upgrade and making it look as unique as it does?
Well, here's the thing. I work with, everybody. I try to get people involved. So, for instance, No Escape, Mikey, we sat down, we came up with this plan. Hey, man, it would be really cool if we had, maybe some caging, maybe some barbed wire on the top of it. Uh, the Nugget doesn't have a stage, or a ramp for their stage, so to speak. So in the beginning, we had to kind of hosh posh something together. And it just looked like shit. Let's just be honest. It just didn't look professional. I don't think it was safe for the guys. I mean, Jesus Christ, Hammerstone almost, creamed himself coming out one time. So I went out and I actually found a ramp. It was kind of crazy. We were looking at everywhere, and these ramps, they're expensive as shit. I mean, anywhere from $3,500 to 10 grand. I got really lucky one day. I was getting ready to go to U-Haul, and I was going to steal one off a U-Haul truck. I'm not kidding you. I was going to rent the U-Haul and say, screw it. I'm just going to show up back up with no ramp on it. My next door neighbor he's a bigwig at a construction company. And I just I'm on my way to U-Haul. He's outside. I stop. I said, hey, brother, man, by any chance, you ain't got an old U-Haul ramp sitting in the goddamn construction yard, do you? He's like, no, but I got a ramp we use for dump trucks. I said, what? What do you mean dump trucks? He goes, yeah, we got two of them. I know we gave one away, and I got one left. I said, bro, Can I buy it off you? He goes, listen, Rock, it's yours. If you want it, it's yours. I said, how big is it? No, it's pretty good size. He goes, I'll have it delivered to your house in an hour. I said, I don't even have to go get it. He goes, no, I'll have it to you in an hour. No shit. The guy brought it over in an hour. It was better than I could have bought. I mean, it literally was the perfect ramp that I needed. It worked out perfect. So in that show, it was Mikey. We got the new ramp. Little Joey, Joe DeFalco's son. He's a great young man. He's been, investing, his own money and lighting and things of that nature.
Yep.
He bought some gobos. We kind of went over and say, hey, this would look cool this way. So between me, Joey, and Mikey, we kind of set that up. And it's the same with the last show we just had. I actually made Joey set up the lighting this show. I'm trying to get him a little bit more involved. I mean, he's part of the production. He's the head of production. But when it came to hands-on, it was me having to set everything up. And unfortunately, everything that I got to do, I just don't have the time to sit there and play with lights and all that other shit. Because I've got to set up the ring. I got to set up the staging, the curtains, the tables, the chairs. I mean, literally everything that has to be done for the show, I've got to do. So Joey was cool this show. He got the staging set up. He had bought those long tubular lights that you've seen. They were orange on the bottom. We had already gotten the gobos. He purchased a couple more smaller gobos. I had bought new fog machines about 4 months ago. It just looked outstanding. I mean, but so it wasn't just, I'm not that guy. I'm not Joe DeFalco. I'm not taking credit for something that wasn't just me. It's a collaboration of a bunch of people getting the job done. And that's what we do, so that's how that all came about. But yeah, I mean, every show that we do, Matt, we're just trying to get it better and better and better. And let's be honest, the Silver Nugget, that's where we originally started from when we left the SWAT meet, for crying out loud. And we just didn't have a choice. We had to go back there. I hate the room. I'm going to be honest with you. But it's a big enough room, and we've been able to make it look decent in order for us to continue doing those bigger shows. Obviously, I'm sure Joe's talked about it. We're trying to get back to the Silverton. Sam's Town's my favorite place to be. But Jesus Christ, Sam's Town now wants $10,000 to $15,000 just to walk in the door. I think people have the wrong impression in the wrestling business that, we're not just a promotion. We're a training facility. We do it all. And I think people think that, these guys are making, hand over fist with all this money, and we're not. And most of the time, if we break even, we're lucky. Most of the time, we're still coming out of pocket, even for the big shows, like the Mecca. You've seen the card on Mecca. I mean, from top to bottom, just a fantastic, fantastic show. And that costs you money. There's no getting around it, So it's not a money-making thing. I mean, we're moving forward, trying to. I guess let's put it this way. So Joe DeFalco is a great guy. He's great at doing. I love him as a partner. And by the way, most people don't know that I'm the co-owner. Anybody on the outside of FSW don't even know that I'm the co-owner of FSW. I am 50% partner. Whether it be on paper, whether you see it when you punch it in, I am 50% Joe DeFalco's fucking partner. That's the bottom line. Over the last couple of months, I've had so many people come up to me, introduce, oh, hey, how you doing? Thinking that I'm the fucking head of security. No, I'm not the head of security for FSW. I am a goddamn working partner. And when I say working, I am a working partner. I'm a businessman. I've always been a businessman. I'm sure the stories come out how I got involved with FSW. I was back in the day, I mean, Jesus Christ, almost 12 years ago with Jack Slammy and Michael Modest. Joe DeFalco came to me. I was making millions of dollars at the time. I was a money man. And that's kind of how I got into it, because I love wrestling. I've always loved wrestling. That's the bottom line. Hang on a second. People are always bothering me. Hey, come in. Oh, well, come in. It's locked. Hang on 1 second. Just hang on, because that's the kind of guy I am, 24/7. Got to do my thing. God damn it, kid, you're interrupting me. I'm on an important podcast with bad boys. Grab what you got to grab. Shut my goddamn, unlock it, please. And then get the hell out of here. Get on your post. Anyway, as I was saying, business as usual. I'm a businessman. I own a multi-million-dollar security company on top of FSW. I'm a father of a 17-year-old kid. I've got a lovely wife. I rescue animals. I mean, I'm a 24-hour-a-day guy. I mean, that's the bottom line. So, but anyway, just so everybody knows, I am 50% partner of FSW. Okay, and I do my share. I mean, when Joe brought me in, Joe is not a technical kind of guy. When I mean that is, Jesus Christ, Matt, I think in 11 years, Joe's helped me set up the ring one time. Back 10 years ago, we rented the ring for a lucha show at the Cheyenne Saloon, if I'm not mistaken. And we didn't really have a lot of students. We didn't have hands to help. And I think it was me, little Joey, Joe, and I believe even his wife helped out. I think that's the only time that Joe DeFalco has put his hands on the goddamn ring. Okay? Now, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. If I disappeared or died tomorrow, I don't know who the hell they would get to set up this goddamn ring and get everything set for the show. I mean, and that's even at the school. I got to micromanage the school. I got to help do this, help do that. Are the TV's on? Is this done? Is that done? I'm going to be honest with you. Sunday, I was steaming pissed. So I had a busy week that week. I had loaded and pre-did everything, and even I forgot a couple of things. I had to send somebody back for the ring ropes. But I had such a busy week that I didn't micromanage everything. Yeah. I get there, set up, and there's no goddamn equipment for production. I'm like, where's production team? Oh, well, they're at the school breaking down. You're breaking down on Sunday morning, the day of the goddamn show. I was fit to be tied. Okay. Wow. So now, we got to rush to get that all done. I mean, there's so many moving parts when you're doing a goddamn show. I mean, it's just never ending. You know what I mean? So they got the production stuff there. We were missing a few things, had to make a few trips. Joe DeFalco, God bless his heart. He shows up when he does. Most of the shit's already done because that's Joe. He does his keyboard stuff, and books the show, but the rest kind of falls on me. It was kind of funny because, he comes up to me, hey, I need you to watch the door. Okay, Joe, no problem. What's going on? Oh, shit, I forgot the envelopes, the pay. It's at the house. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Well, I had left because I needed to get at least an hour's sleep Sunday. So I went in at 8. I left there probably around noontime. I figured, okay, let me go home. Let me sleep for 30 minutes, jump in the shower, have my ass back there by 2:30. Well, I laid my head down. I get a call from Ash. Ash is my new gym manager. Okay. Rock, hey, we got a little problem. Hey, Ash, what's going on? Well, the ropes broke. I'm like, oh, shit. Are you kidding me right now? What do you mean the ropes broke? And now I'm thinking, okay, the actual ropes broke. I don't know if you remember back in the day we had, I think it was Alcatraz and Tyshawn Prince in the ring. And literally, they snapped the goddamn ropes. They didn't break a turnbuckle. They snapped the goddamn ropes. We had to finish the show with 2 ropes, literally. But anyway, needless to say, okay, so now I gotta figure out what's going on. Send me a picture. What's broken? Come to find out, one of the turnbuckles was stripped out. Well, we just don't have those on hand. Okay, Ash was like, oh, well, just bring me a rope, because Ash knows it all. You know what I mean? He knows it all. Hey, bring me one of the ropes, whatever. I'm like, Ash, what exactly is going on? Oh, well, the turnbuckle stripped out. Calls me back. Oh, I think I got it fixed. Oh, no, I don't have it fixed. I'm like, okay, brother. I said, first of all, we can't just replace one rope. So in layman terms, when you do ring ropes, like I build most of our ring ropes. So we'll order them. Then I actually got to put them together. There's a knuckle side. The knuckle side has clamps that holds the 2 cables together. You set them. You make sure everything's even all the way around because the rope's got to be, parallel to each other. If
Right.
you do them wrong, you're going to have a rope that sticks out 4 to 6 inches the wrong way and is very dangerous if the guys go to hit the ropes.
Yeah.
Needless to say, so now now I'm in motion. It's like, okay, now I got to figure this out. What size turnbuckles are they, Ash? I don't know. Let me look. All right. Oh, well, they're half inch. Okay, Ash. Well, guess what? One rope's not going to do it, because the ropes that we have on the other ring, most rings are either 5/8 or 3/4 turnbuckles. This is the new ring. We got the ropes from them. I didn't make those ropes. So they put half inch on there, which is the smallest really that you could use on a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
You can't take one rope that has half inch turnbuckles and then replace it with a rope that has 3/4 or 5/8, because you're going to have that same thing. The ropes are going to be like this. So I tell Ash, no, that's not going to work. Send a couple of students to the school. I get out of bed, jump in the shower, head over to the school. We get the ropes off. We're on our way back to the Silver Nugget. Jimmy Jack, I got to tell you, Jimmy Jack, what a great guy, what a great hand, even behind the scenes. He's become, not only has he become a great, I mean, I don't want to say he's the greatest wrestler in the world, but character-wise, he's learning so much, and he is such a great entertainer. Got to give that kid kudos. But on the other turn of that, he is such a big help to me. If I call him, I need him. By the time I got to the school, I'm going to be honest with you, him and 2 other guys already had the ropes off the other ring and had them in the back of the car, which was great for me. Okay, let's go. We got to get to the Silver Nugget. We get there, we get the new ropes on, or, the ropes on, and everything's good. We're ready to roll. We fine-tune a few more things. By then, Joey's got the lighting up, production's set. We're ready to rock and roll. So, yeah, man, a lot of shit happens in the business, a lot of shit that people don't know and don't understand. It's grueling. It takes usually, when we do a ring setup, I try to have 15 to 20 guys there, and it still takes us a good 4 to 5 hours for setup. Back in the old days, in some places, we would be able to get in the night before, and we get everything set up the night before. Lately at the Silver Nugget, they have so many canasitas or whatever the hell they call that Mexican shit, that their Saturdays are usually booked. You know what I mean? With their Sweet 16s and that thing that I just said. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so we hardly are ever able to set up the night before anymore, which is a real pain in the ass, because doing a setup on the day of the show, it's grueling. It's nerve-wracking, because shit happens. At least if I do set up the night before and we test everything's good. If something's wrong, we can get it fixed. We can prepare for it. Even if we do it in the morning, we know what the problem is. We have the solution. When we're running a show and setting up that same day, I don't have that luxury of okay, we'll get it. It's like, now it's balls to the walls. Now we got to figure shit out on the fly and get it done. We're running our Sunday shows at 5 o'clock. Most of the time we're running at 7. When we do the school shows, and Saturdays and Friday shows are usually 7 p.m. On a Sunday, kids got school, so we run an earlier show. So you figure call time's usually about 3 o'clock. So, and then we open the doors at 4:30 for pre-show. So I got to have shit done. If something goes wrong between the hours of 12 and 2, I'm almost screwed. I mean, literally, I'm almost screwed. I've got to come up with that solution so fast, it's not even funny. And then let's move back a show where no escape. So obviously, you see, we have to set up a cage. Now, I'm a master pro at setting up cages. I have that shit down to a science. I think the fastest time we've ever had is like 7 minutes and 58 seconds, which to set up a cage is amazingly fast. I think this last show, we were right around 10 minutes, 11 minutes, somewhere right in between there, which by all means is still fast as hell. But it's me. I get the kids, they help carry it in, but nobody knows how to do the straps. Nobody knows how to tie it together. I am running around. By the time I'm done in that 10 minutes, I'm soaked. I'm so drenched. I'm up on top of ladders. I'm down below. I'm everywhere that I got to be, because I got to do all that. And it's
Right.
important because it's the safety of not only the fans, but it's the safety of the performers and the wrestlers.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want there to be a slip up. And when you're dealing with that cage, it's no joke.
Yeah.
And the way I do that is I actually get 12 panels. We take the panels, we turn them up, and then I lock them together with brackets. So now it becomes 3 panels per side. So it's really hard to move them. So I accordion those 3 together, which is very heavy. We carry them in, we stand them up. They all have to go the right way. So there's a certain way you got to open them. You got to get them to the ring, and then you start the strap down procedure. And I think that I use it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like probably almost, I'd say 18 straps
Okay.
to get that thing to stand up safely and attached to the ring.
Yeah.
And if you notice, we don't actually have a panel that has a door. We got to use one whole panel as a door. We're
Right.
actually ordered for the future because we're trying to evolve. Everything that we do, we're evolving. We actually ordered a panel that actually has a door on it. So
Nice.
now we'll be able to lock that panel down, and actually they'll be able to go in and out of a regular door. They just don't make them. They don't have them.
Yeah.
We'll own that particular one, but we normally rent the fencing for me to build the cage. And of course, I build that a couple of days prior. I'll get a few students. We'll get everything, tied in. And then we usually have 4 sections. So like I said, there's always something that we have to do to make these shows happen.
You mentioned it a little bit, and that is the look, the style, and like you said, big word, professionalism, to make it look really professional. So the big question for you is, being that you are a businessman, you have a multi-million dollar company. The question is, how do you see elevating FSW, and where is the conflict on agreement on how that can be achieved?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. I don't want to take anything from Joe. Okay, I love Joe. I'm the kind of guy where when I talk to somebody, I make sure people know that, hey, I have a partner. His name is Joe DeFalco. Okay, I'm pretty sure that it doesn't really work both ways. If I'm on a podcast, I give props to Joe. If he's on a podcast, you'll never hear Rocky T come out of his mouth. I think Joe, and this is nothing, against Joe. It's just Joe. That's the way Joe is. I guess the good way to put it is Joe's very happy being the big fish in the little pond. Okay? He's happy being the big fish in the little pond. Me personally, that's not my goal. Okay? My goal is to be the little fish in the bigger pond. You know what I mean? I want to be in the ocean with the sharks. And what I mean by that is I want to be the Ring of Honors, the Impact Wrestling. And I'm going to be honest with you, our storylines, our shows are as good, maybe even better than Ring of Honor was, and is equal to Impact. I mean, the only difference is these companies have multi-billionaires that put out that money so they can do what they want to do. Remember, we're working on a friggin' strict budget. We're budgeting shows at, maybe 5 to, 7,000 most of the time. Our budget for a school show might be a couple grand. You don't bring that in at the door. So what we do for as little money as we have, we do a really great job. The problem is you have to be a businessman in this. You have to have the proper bookwork. You have to show your wins and your losses. Everything has to be tightened up. Now, unfortunately, I'm not really a part of that. I'll ask for certain things that I really don't get. I can't go and get a multi-million-dollar investor when I ask for bookwork and you tell me, well, I'll send you the Zella receipts, or you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it, okay? Now, for Rocky T's, a multi-million-dollar business, I have a legitimate CPA. I have consultants. I pay people to do the job, to make sure that Rocky T's, I pay quarterly taxes. I file taxes every year. You have to have those things to get a multi-million-dollar investor invested in you. That's
Yeah.
the bottom line. We're not quite there yet. We're working on it. We're trying. I'm trying to push Joe to do certain things to get us in that position. Because let's face it, if you want to be the big fish in a little pond, you can keep going the way we're going. That's fine. We're getting better and better. We got the network now. But really, that's not my goal. My goal is for some guy to come in, throw out $3-4 million, and say, "Hey, I want to invest in this company. I think you guys could be the next Impact Wrestling." And honestly, we could. Joe has got a fantastic mind when it comes to storyline, when it comes to booking. I'm not going to take that away from the guy. He is brilliant. He is
Right.
fucking brilliant at what he does. Um, but there's so much more to the business aspect than just being a great booker and a great storyteller. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got to kind of come together and we got to figure things out and we got to kind of move to that next level to get that guy in. And what happens when you get that $3-4 million investor? Now you can go to the TV channels. Your production is spot on. Now you can pay the guys what they need. Everybody gets put on a payroll. Nobody's working for free. It changes the whole goddamn game. Because you got to remember, we don't really have a payroll. The only people that get paid are the guys on the show, and we only pay them what we can afford to pay them. And I'm going to be honest with you, almost every one of them deserves so much more, Matt. They really do. They bust their ass for FSW. I'm so proud of our roster. I mean, Jesus Christ, and I'm talking about like guys like Hammerstone and Chris Bay, all of those guys. They are so humble when it comes to us. They could be charging us a lot more money to come in and do what they do for us, but they don't because, we help them get where they are. FSW really has done that for a lot of these guys, whether they, trained with FSW or not. And we know the track record, obviously, Karrion Kross. I mean, you got Zoe Stark. There's so many of them, man. Jay Vidal, Chris Bay. Just so many people we've helped get out there in the wrestling world. And it cost us to do that. Jesus Christ, Karrion Kross. Let's face the facts. The guy's fantastic. He can talk like no other. The first year or two, though, he couldn't really wrestle, but he was a talker. Anything that came out of his mouth, he could make you believe he was that person, and that it didn't matter who you were, you're going to get your ass kicked. You're going to get your ass handed to you. That was the bottom line. So what Joe did, bless his heart, he spent a lot of money. We spent a lot of money on Kross. And what I mean by that is we brought every goddamn name guy in that we could to put Kross in the ring with.
Right.
Every goddamn one that we could. And that started to elevate him. Now, when he started getting elevated from FSW, other companies started taking notice. He started getting booking here, booking there. And that's kind of how it went. Chloe Stark was great. Now, obviously, her man, Tom Howard, come from the wrestling world, very talented man, great wrestler. She had a foot up already. She had been training. She came to FSW, worked her ass off. We put the women's championship on. Even Tom, reached out to me and said, I just want to thank you guys because we helped elevate her to get her to where she needed to be, which is in WWE. Jesus Christ, it doesn't get any better than that, right?
Yeah.
Solo Sikoa, same shit. His dad owns a wrestling company, okay? Everybody knows Rikishi, right? That's his father. But when he came to Vegas, where did he come? He came to FSW. What did we do? We put the Nevada State Championship on him. We got him some great matches. We helped him kind of move forward. And look at him now. Oh, my God. He is killing it out there with the bloodline. Killing it. So we've been very lucky. Let's talk about Jay Vidal. Jay Vidal was training with Gangrel. That's where he trained at. Came to FSW. We used him, seen that he was a great talent, put him in some great matches, kind of helped him get where he needed to go. He was helping with Ring Crew so a lot of people don't know. Let me throw it out there. So we just got done with 4 days of Impact a couple of weeks back. So basically yours truly, I'm the guy. So when Impact comes into town, I'm there from the time that they start to the time that they finish. I'm the first guy there and the last guy to leave. Okay. I run Impact's ring crew. Bottom line. Anything that they need, I'm the guy that coordinates everything to get it done. That's the trust that I have built and the reputation that I have built in this business. That, hey, we put it in Rocky's hands. We know it's going to happen, which is a great thing. But anyway, so back to Jay Vidal. So in the beginning, Jay Vidal was helping out with Ring Crew, and that's how he was kind of seen because let's face it, Scott De La Mora, he watches everything. He likes those youngsters that put in the work, and when it comes time for an extra spot here or there, those are the people that we put forward for Impact. Because Impact will always ask, well, hey, we got this spot. Who is deserving of that spot? And that's why I tell these kids every goddamn day, work your ass off because somebody's always watching. Opportunities come to you if you're that person. Some of them get it. Some of them don't, you know. But anyway, that's how Jay Vidal. Sandra Moon. So I had a busy week one year with Impact being in. Now, I was still there, but I had to leave here and there. So when I would leave, I'd put Sandra Moon in charge. Believe it or not, Sandra Moon at one time was my gym manager. She did a fabulous job. She was on top of her game. I could see that. I like to give certain people certain roles and hope that they flourish in that role because it makes them a better person, makes them a better wrestler, it makes them a all-around better person, to be honest with you. So we did that with Sandra Moon, and then Sandra Moon ended up getting some spots on the show. And whether they're dark matches or not, it really doesn't matter. If you get a spot on the show, it doesn't matter if it's a security spot. And they'll tell you at Impact, a lot of the bigwigs at Impact started their careers at Impact by taping ropes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so you start at the bottom, and when somebody notices that you're a hard worker, they're going to give you that opportunity to shine. So good stuff. But like I said, so that's how Jay Vidal got in. That's how Sandra Moon got in. We've done so much in FSW. I mean, Britain's Top Model. We did Gigolos, HBO or Cinemax's Gigolos. I mean, Jesus Christ, we're always doing something. I've got something else going on right now. Unfortunately, I can't really discuss it. It's a little hush hush. But we're always working with somebody to get FSW that exposure. It's one of those things where you always got to put yourself out there, and it's not always about money. I mean, I get, people will chew me out. Oh shit, that's not enough money. Why are you only charging them? Because sometimes it's not about the money. It's about the connection that you're making, and it's about the future. What can this person bring to the table in the future?
Right.
Okay. Dollar bills are great. Would I love to be making money with FSW? I would. I would love to be making money. Let's face it. If Joe hands me $400 tomorrow, hey, here's your cut of something. Okay, well, the next day I'm putting 500 in. So do I ever really make any money? No, I don't. It's as simple as that. I mean, shit, I spent 3 days at Impact, or actually 4 days. I haven't seen a dime of it. Not a dime, So it's a tough and grueling business. My wife hates it. She hates it because I've always got to stop what I'm doing with family life, and I've got to go handle FSW on top of Rocky T security and everything else that I do. I ride in a motorcycle club. I'm an international president. So I have, I wear so many hats, Matt. It's not even funny. I mean, the stories that I could tell you between the security, the wrestling, the motorcycle club. I mean, I could write a book and never get to the end chapter. You know what I mean? Because the book is constantly being written. Constantly. I'm always adding a chapter in that book. So, but good stuff. Why am I here? Why do I do it? Why do I put the time in? Because I love goddamn wrestling. Now, and let me make this very clear. I am not a mark for wrestling. I don't run back, and I do a lot of promos with a lot of the superstars because I'm a promo guy. I do promos and a lot of vignettes. I do one or two every day almost. I do something what's called E-Feds. I hardly ever get on the show. It upsets me a lot. I am a character. I'm a
Right.
character that's not a character. Rocky T is true to life. All those hats, everything that I do is pretty much real, based off of something that I've done in my life.
Right.
I kind of turned to E-Feds. I had a good friend named David Jones, and he runs iWrestling. I've been very fortunate, and I've been able to bring some of these E-Fedders are actual wrestlers. James Drake, there's a bunch of them. The House of Wolves. I have another buddy, Chad Bartlett. I actually brought him out here from one of the big shows. He did a seminar with us. Now he's back, and I believe it's South Carolina or whatever, and he is the White Claw Outlaws. I had another guy named Justin Klein that was an E-Fedder. And I'll get into what an E-Fedder is in a second. But Justin was an E-Fedder. And, he reached out to me because I help the guys because I know wrestling. I work and live wrestling. And, he's a bigger dude, not really in a wrestler kind of guy. But this guy is an entertainer and he could talk. I said, bro, you'd make a great manager. What is he doing now? He's out south and he's in the role as a manager doing real wrestling shows. So what an E-Fed is an E-Fed is they're little companies and it's an internet-based thing. It's almost like these little football things that you do. You never really wrestle. So they give you an opponent, and basically what you do is you go back and forth cutting promos. And then they decide at the end of it that, whose promo was better, and that's how you win the match. I came into the business and I literally changed the business. E-Fedders would be in their goddamn living room, sitting on their couches, yelling into a goddamn camera. I brought the reality of wrestling to the E-Fed world by bringing in former superstars, current superstars, cutting promos with them, doing vignettes, getting in the ring, clotheslining people, body slamming people. I mean, literally bringing the element of real wrestling into something that was really fake. I mean, that's all it was storyline stuff. And that's what we did. And to this day, I still do that. That's why I'm so good on the mic. Right. I can cut a promo like there's no tomorrow. At any given situation because I practice it. I practice it every day. I want to be the commissioner, but unfortunately, when I was the commissioner, nothing against Joe, but all he really wanted me to do, and I don't know if he just doesn't like me getting the spotlight, and I don't want to take the spotlight from the kids. I don't, right. Or the wrestlers. I don't. But when I was the commissioner, it was basically go in the ring, announce this, announce the next shows. Hell, Paulie Cobra becomes goddamn commissioner. He's in the fucking ring with goddamn with Killer Cross. I'm like, right. Well, how does that work? I had storyline going at one time just to be part of the show. I was the manager of the Players Club. Right. Jay Cash and Leon Hader. I had fun doing that, but once again, couldn't really get involved with stuff because I was the face. I've always played the face. I'm not a heel. You've heard it yourself. I can go out there and fix the ropes, and they'll start chanting Rocky T for crying out loud. That's the rapport that I have with the fans because I love the fans, and I think the fans get it. They understand that what I'm doing not only for the wrestlers, but I'm doing it for them too, the wrestling fans. That's a big part of why I do what I do. Seeing those young kids and even those older people just, mark out and love what FSW is doing is major for me. I mean, I guess it's my reward, Matt, all kidding aside, being able to sit back and say that I helped Killer Cross, I helped Jay Vidal. And by the way, Jay Vidal, if you watch this, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much once again. Jay Vidal was one of the only people in the business that's ever came out. We did the inaugural banner for Jay Vidal when he got signed for Impact. And I'm going to be honest with you, the kid put tears in my eyes. I was having a bad day as it was with shit with FSW and some other shit. And Jay Vidal came out and unexpectedly he basically came out and said that I was the heart and soul in front of the whole audience on the mic, and mentioned Rocky T being that, and it touched me. And at that point, because I'm going to be honest with you, I was ready to throw in the towel. I had such a bad day that day with shit just not being done the way I needed it to be done. This I'll get into that in a second, but Jay Vidal basically just, he floored me. And it was that point that I realized that, you know what, no matter what happens, that man right there, basically, he just summed it up. If I can just touch one person's heart and one person acknowledges me as that man, then guess what? It's all worth it. It's all worth it. All the hard work, all the energy that I put into FSW, it's worth it. And nothing against Joe, but Joe doesn't brag about Rocky T. Oh God, I got this great partner. He makes this go. And it's nothing personal. I know it's not. And I love him either way. That's just Joe DeFalco.
Right.
I was pretty upset. He got a video from Solis Accor, putting over FSW. And it's kind of funny because when anybody mentions anything on a podcast or this or that, it's always, thank you, Joe DeFalco. Very rarely do you ever hear a thank you to Rocky T.
Right.
Very rarely. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a human being like everybody else. It friggin' hurts, man. It hurts because I know the time and the money and the effort that I put in to make the company what it is. You know what I mean? So, but I just keep on moving. I mean, I'm not a guy that needs a pat on the back. I really ain't. And just once in a while, it'd be great to be acknowledged for the person and the things that I do for the company. And don't get me wrong, the wrestlers come up, they know, they thank me. You know what I mean? But as far as that, the outside world, they have no clue. Right. They have no clue, But anyway, let's go back to the students. Now that we talked about Jay Vidal, the banners, the guys, what we've done for the wrestling world, because we have done a lot, bringing these people, to WWE, Impact, and so on. Today's students, I mean, you know what? It's crazy. I can show a guy 10 times, and it's nothing against this generation. This generation sucks. Okay? I'm going to be point blank honest with you. They all think they're privileged. You got wrestlers been wrestling for maybe 2, maybe 3 years, and now they know it all. They went to some rinky-dink company where they got 50 people in the audience. The promoter decides to give them a title. They get a title, and now all of a sudden they're goddamn superstars. They stop practicing. They stop this. They stop that. They're too good to be ring crew. And I'm not singling anybody out. It's just the new generation. That's the way they think, man. I'm an old school dude, bro. And when I say old school, back in the day, the guys would travel 5, 6 guys in the car. Even the Hulk Hogans and the Dusty Rhodes and shit. And guess what? And the Sin Bodis, and they would have to help set up the ring. That's how the show went off. Period. Yeah. These kids don't retain shit, man. I've showed the same kids over and over again how to put a friggin' apron on, okay? Because I'm anal when it comes to my ring. They still can't get it right. If I'm not there to guide them where this pole goes, where that pole goes, even the shit's numbered, okay? They still can't do it, okay? I mean, literally, and it's sad. It's just like FSW Arena. I'm very anal about the arena. I'll tell these kids every day, clean the goddamn gym. You never know who's walking through the door, because it's true. You never know who's walking through the FSW door, whether it's a superstar, a big promoter, owners of the big companies. There's always somebody walking through the FSW door. So I said, take pride in your house. Keep it clean. Keep everything where it needs to be. Bro, I'll walk in there. The place is trash. I got to spend 2 hours myself doing the job. And even when they do it, I got to come back and do it over because they just didn't do it up to my standards. Right. And not that my standards are the right way. Okay. Let's just forget about everything else. I expect certain things to be done a certain way. I mean, and that's the way I want them done, period. If you're not going to get them done that way, then don't even bother, But, and I've had some of the guys ragging. I mean, oh, we did this, we did that. No, you didn't do shit. Okay? You didn't do shit. If I walk in and I see the chairs are still dusty, then you obviously didn't do shit. You know what I mean? If the ring's not ready for the show, then It's not ready. If the aprons aren't on, if the turnbuckles aren't on, it's not ready for the show, you
Right.
know? But today's generation, I just don't think that they all get it. They all feel that they're privileged, and it's sad. I don't know how to change that. I really don't. The wrestling world, as well as you know and I know, has definitely changed. And
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and tell you straight honest, I don't think it's changed for the better. I really don't. Um, there's just so many things going on, even with the big companies. The allegations that are going on with certain wrestlers, and back in the you never heard about that crap back in the past. It was always a mutual kind of thing, and I still think it was always still now it's a mutual kind of thing. But now they have a voice. You understand?
Yeah.
And they want to put it out there because they want sympathy, or they want this, or they want that. It's usually for personal gain. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Sure.
not for the better of the business. It's for personal gain, and that's a problem for me. I'm all about the business. And I'll be honest with you, I've had to tone my ass down. I mean, because I'm Italian. Everybody knows I'm an Italian. And I have no filter, Matt. I don't. And I just talk, wearing all those hats, the biker, the CEO of a security company. I really don't have a filter, man. I say things the way that I see them. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, nowadays, it becomes offensive to certain people. So now I've had to watch, and it sucks that I can't be that. I can't be who I really am anymore. I have to be somebody else. I mean, I'm still me, but I got to be somebody else around certain people
Right.
because I don't want to offend anybody. And I don't want to. And I never, if I ever said anything to you, and that goes to anybody out there that offended you, that was never my intention. Okay. I'm not that guy. Okay. But it might have come across that way because I am loud, I'm Italian, and I have an attitude, I have a personality, and I put it out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the business is definitely different, man.
Yeah, there is no doubt, and a lot of it has to do with the what I like to call the TikTok social media, the influencer, the fact that you can get yourself over um, in entertainment now just by being on the internet. You have to work less at becoming famous as compared to someone who is training as a student and understanding you're a student just like if you were in grade school and grammar school and high school and college. You build, you learn, you grow, and you never stop because your ideal situation is becoming a professional, and that's what you're going through. You're going through a series of learning experiences to make you become a professional, not to just become the famous guy who could put on spots on his Instagram for people to just mark out on. And it's a different it's just a different philosophy. Back in the day, when we're not in the ring, you're doing Himalaya squats and you're doing push-ups and you're doing sit-ups and you're doing all these things. And if you're out of line, you're being put in line by your trainers because that is how you get the discipline and you learn. And one of the biggest things is, participating as part of a ring crew. And when you're there, also you're learning, you're observing, taking in everything around you because everyone who's working for that company, and especially with you guys having the relationship you do with Impact, that allows everyone to see people who are currently working for a business that is a wrestling company, and you can see what everyone's job is. And it's not the clicks, it's not the hey guys, we're putting on a wrestling show attitude. No, it's we have to get this done because this is our time we have in our budget for our TV taping. This is what we have to accomplish. If we don't, we are in trouble. And it's responsibility. And that's one of the biggest things. Responsibility is what is lacking nowadays.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have some great students, and they really do push themselves. I mean, I still have to chase a lot of people around and, force them to do this, force them to do that. Some people have gotten kind of a free walk, so to speak, really didn't put in the time that they needed, but Joe pushed them anyway. That's the one thing about Joe. Joe's a great guy when it comes to that. He wants to get everybody on the show.
Yeah.
I've tried to step in as of lately. If I notice that guy's not doing or helping, I go to Joe, say, don't friggin' put him on the goddamn show, man. You gotta make an example somewhere. Joe's got a big heart. God bless him. He really does. And he does care about the students. There's a lot of them out there that think that he doesn't, but he does. He cares about the kids, the younger crew. He cares about the roster guys. He wants to get everybody on the show. So even if, that's kind of, I think, where some of it has gone awry, is because some of these guys have gotten away without not having to help, don't show up for this, don't show up for that, but then still get a spot on the fucking show. So if you're not taking anything from them, then why would they? Hey, if I don't have to do that, because no matter what, I'm still going to be on the show because I'm that guy. Guys like Nick Zander. Nick Zander's a very helpful young man.
Yes.
Young Bodie, fantastic young man.
Yeah.
They show up, they help out. There's certain people that have always been that way. The Matt Vandergriffs, the Bretts. You know what I mean? I mean, those guys have been in the business. I'm not talking about Brett the Threat. He's helpful too when he's available. The young guy did. There's, the Chase Bells, those roster guys help out still. Hell, let's put it out there. Ice Williams, the Faction. When I do Impact, they come and they help. You understand? Because they know the value of it. Okay? I mean, and let's be honest. I'm going to be shocked if Ice Williams isn't signed here soon. Because Ice is a major talent. I mean, and nothing against anybody else in the Faction. I think they're all great. But Ice stands out. Ice is one of those guys, man. Before he turned heel, that kid would crack me up. I loved watching him because he put a smile on my face all the time. I'm like, oh my God, that was brilliant. The shit would just click in his head and it was brilliant, literally brilliant. And it put a smile on my face and would make me laugh. He became heel, and then I was a little, but now he found his way as a heel. And now he's putting that smile back on my face. You know what I'm saying? He is a very talented young man, let's be blunt. The Remy Marcells, the Matt Vandergriffs, the Bretts, we have some great local talent, man. The Cody. We have some people that have busted their ass for FSW for years, and they are great talents. I mean, and there ain't nobody out there. It's like, I try Joe, me personally, this is just my personal opinion. This is not harping on Joe. I think Joe overbooks shit. Okay. Joe books a show and, he's a great booker, great putting the cards together. But man, sometimes it's like every goddamn match is a great match. I mean, you sometimes need to have a progression, okay? And we start off with a great match. It's hard for the next match to do better than that, and the third match to do better than that, and so on and so on. By the time you get to the main event, was it really the main event? Probably not. You follow what I'm saying? Am I making sense when I say that? I think sometimes he overstacks the cards, man. We're giving way too much in one show. You know what I mean? I think that my personal opinion is I think we need to utilize more local talent in the beginning of these shows. And, you bring in those certain people that you need to bring in because you can run the same great show. But at least it's going to pyramid like this and not be like this. You know what I mean? Because literally what we do right now is every match from match 1 to the last match 9 is just great. Super. I mean, in the business of wrestling, you can't give the fans that. There's no where do you find that holy shit moments? If everything's a holy shit moment, it becomes a no holy shit moment. Does that make sense?
Well, and it also then um unfortunately, the honest truth is it tires the crowd out because you've
Right. Well,
seen
that's
this
what I'm saying, though.
yeah,
It's too much. It's
yeah,
too
sure.
much. In other words, that's what I'm saying. There's not that you don't reach that high point because you start off with the high point and it just keeps on going that same way. With wrestling, I want to see it start here, but by mid show, I want it to be here. By the time that it's main event, I want it to be here. You know what I mean? And right now, the way we're booking shit straight across the board, you're just giving them everything right from match one. There's got to be those highs and those lows. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
and
but
Rocky,
that's what Joe likes to do. I mean, I'm not going to argue the fact about it. I just think that sometimes less is more. You know what I mean?
well, and I think that this is a great time to plug one of my favorite guys because of the fact that he brings something different, and that's Ricky Tenacious. And I think that with Ricky Tenacious, it's very important because that's someone who gives you something else, but the work he does with everyone he's in there, he makes them look like $1 million.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ricky. I wasn't always a fan of Ricky Tenacious. Okay, right from the get go. I worked as his commissioner in his show, but I'm going to tell you what, he has grown on me over the years. That kid, man, what an outstanding young man he is. He really is. He'll get in that ring and he'll put anybody over. It doesn't matter. He's not worried about putting himself over. He's worried about putting his opponent over. And
Yeah.
he does a smoking job of it. I take my hat off to Ricky. I love that guy. I really do. And his character, bro, the songbird. Oh my God, he's another one of those guys where I gotta sit back and I start chuckling because it's just great entertainment. He's a great
Yep.
entertainer, man. That kid, every time he makes up, he uses somebody's song, but then turns it into what he needs it for his entrance and shit. And just comical. It's just such great stuff. Now I'm one of those guys where I like everything in wrestling. I like the highs, I like the lows, I like the comedy. I love the comedy stuff too. I think that brings a big part of it to the show. That's what was so cool about the Players Club with Jay Cash and Leon Hayter. There were so many comedy sticks involved with it, that it made it real fun. I mean, we did. I mean, Jesus Christ, we did so many promos when I was with them. It wasn't even funny. We're different locations. I can remember Jay Cash dressing up in the big muscle suit and Leon Hayter being the newscast guy. I mean, just great, great stuff. And I really think that there's a big place in wrestling for those comedy spots. And I think the fans love that. And I think that's what Ricky Tenacious has brought to the table. I mean, he's a great entertainer. I enjoy, watching the stuff that he does because he entertains me. So kudos to him for sure.
And with entertainment, do you think that one of the things that the kids have to learn is how to incorporate the entertainment?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's the hardest part for the kids, for new students. They're learning to wrestle. They're some of these kids, I think, get off on the wrong foot. And what I mean by that is you got guys that have been in training for a year and they're so worried about their character development, who their character is going to be. They worry more about that than they do actually being a wrestler. And when you do that, what happens is, usually character development comes after you learn how to wrestle. You have a few matches, you see how the audience reacts, whether you're good or whether you're bad. And some of these guys just don't get that. Okay, I get in your head you have this thing that you want to be or you want to do, but in reality, is that really going to work for you in front of a crowd? Maybe not. And I think they need to concentrate on becoming a great wrestler first and then worry about character development later. I mean, some of these guys are on social media talking about, who they are, what they are, and putting pictures of their character and shit, but you get in the ring and they can't hold a candlestick to their opponent. You know what I mean?
And Rocky, one last thing I want to know about the students is how important is it for you that they show up, they listen, and they learn?
Well, you know what? It's really important. Because here's the thing: we got a sign-in sheet. You got to sign in when you come down. You got to train, man. If you don't train, even professionals, they still got to train, man. If you don't train, your timing's off. You're missing spots. Obviously, a lot of times the fans don't see it. You know what I mean? But I see it. I see it. I was at Impact Wrestling for those 4 days, and I got to tell you, man, there were some botches in a couple of the matches. I was like, what the hell? So when you're in the wrestling business, you see that stuff. It's very important for those guys to be down there 3 or 4 times a week. It's important for them to show up for every goddamn ring crew that we do. Everything that we do, whether we're setting up a ring first at Sunset Park or for Impact Wrestling, they need to be there. They need to be on point. They need to really start paying more attention to the details. And it's the same thing when you get into the ring. It's all about the details. Setting up the ring is details. The entryways, it's all about the details. Being a great wrestler is all about the details. It's all about those little small things that you do in the ring that make you who you are. You got to embrace the fans. If you don't embrace the fans, if you can't make that connection with the fans, it doesn't matter how great of a wrestler you are. It don't mean shit. If you cannot connect with the fans, whether it's good or bad, and I always say this, if they're booing you, you're doing your job. If they're cheering you, you're doing your job. Yeah, obviously, you're getting cheered as a face. You're getting booed as a heel. If you're not getting any of that, then you're not doing your job. You're not connecting with the fans. You have to connect with the fans. That's the bottom line. Remember, who is paying to see you? Those fans are. Who are you doing this for? Most of the time, you're doing it for the fans. You're not doing it for me. You're doing it for the fans. You got to have the connection with the fans. If you don't have the connection with the fans, then you're wasting your time in this business. I mean, you really are. So it's important to be there for setups. It's important for you to train. It's important for you to look and worry about those small things, because it's the small things, the way you act in the ring, the little minutes that you take in between the moves and pandering to the fans and the facial expressions, and all of that together makes you what you are. You know
Right.
what I mean? And some of these guys don't get it. They go out there, they run an 8-minute match, and everybody wants to get their high flying shit in. They want to do this, they want to do that. Listen, like I said before, sometimes less is better than more. You know what I mean? You got to give the crowd time to react. If you don't give the crowd time to react to what you did and you're just on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, I
Right.
can't soak it all in. I'm a
Yep.
fan. I can't soak it all in. I want to
Right.
soak it in. I want you to tell me the story. And
Right.
it's not easy to tell a story in the ring. Okay? It's not. It takes years of experience in order to do that. And don't
Yep.
get me wrong, we have a lot of great guys that are, on point with it. The faction, man, the faction has come so far. I mean, they
Yeah.
really have.
Yeah.
Great stuff out of those guys. The Chris Bays, I can sit here all day and name these guys, but everybody knows who they are. I put kudos to all our regulars, and they do a great job. But when you're a student, when you're 1 or 2 years in, it's hard. Let's
Yeah.
take Nick. Nick
Yeah.
Xander, the heartbeat. My God, that kid has come so far in the last couple of years. He's in the gym every day. He's still training. He works a full-time job. He's starting to look the part. His body is phenomenal now.
Yep.
And he registers with the crowd. Jesus Christ, the kid registers. Young Bodie registers with the crowd. They
Yeah.
cheer that kid on. Now, let's talk about Brett the Threat.
Yep.
Brett's
Yep.
body's come a long ways over the last year.
Yep.
He is a major heel, but he has honed his skill in. That crowd hates his ass.
Yep.
But that's what we want, right?
Right.
So kudos to those students because they get it. They get it and they're moving on, doing what they need to do. But not everybody does. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Maybe they'll watch this podcast. Maybe they'll take some of, what I talked about. Maybe they'll take it to heart, Matt, what we've talked about. And maybe they'll start implementing those things in the middle of that ring.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Rocky T said so. Well, anyway, usually.
Well, there
What
you
else
go.
you got?
You know what?
Hey, and by the way, fans, just so you know, when you're seeing the side of my head, for some reason, I can't hear Matt very good. So it's me coming closer to my device to listen because I don't want to miss anything. Okay? And if you got a problem with that, then you got a problem with Rocky T. And the next time you see me, I'll take care of that little problem.
Well, that's a good place to say, do you have any final words for the listeners today before we wrap up?
You know what? First of all, I'd like to say thank you to you, bro. Matt, you're a great guy. Bad Boys Podcast, love you guys. You're a sponsor for FSW. You're always putting FSW over. I appreciate it. The one thing I'm a little concerned about is why, we have the Joe DeFalco files and we don't have, a segment with Rocky T here, on a regular basis. I'm a little concerned about that, Matt. You know what I mean? Because, after all, I am a showman. I am Rocky T.
Yeah.
I am 50% of FSW. So really, if you want the scoop, man, you need to talk to the guy, the man. Because that's what Rocky T is. I am the man. I am the myth. I am the legend destroyer, Rocky T. On that note, Matt, it has been a pleasure, and I really hope that we can do this again real soon because I could talk with you all day long, brother. I really could.
I got a feeling that we'll be seeing that in the future, very much so, and we'll make that happen. Everyone listening, again, this is something we wanted to do to present a little different aspect of what goes on in FSW. And today is April 1st that we're releasing this. So Joe did not know that this was happening. And
hey, Joe, guess what? We got you, bro. We got you. You're not the only man in FSW, okay? Just remember that, buddy, partner. And you see how I put you over, Joe DeFalco? Because that's what Rocky T does. Now I expect that in return in the future there, buddy, old pal.
And there you have it. And then you can catch the DeFalco files this week here. It will be out, I believe, on Tuesday. So keep your eyes out for that. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Rocky, for doing this. And again, I think the future holds something where fans are going to be interested to hear what you have to say. And I think we'll be visiting this again very soon.
Sounds good, Matt. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. I really do.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in.